Oh, baby. This is the episode that we have all been waiting for, and I mean me too. This day is 3 years overdue. I wanted to start this when I actually did the build. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, we're about to dive into the craziest OBS Ford F150 build ever. There is crazier out there, but they're not completed. So I'm gonna go ahead and give myself the credit. You're about to embark on episode 1 of our whole journey to chronicle my roughly 18 months of building this truck into really what it became, and you guys know today. We're gonna skip some stuff in there. I wasn't perfect at filming. You're gonna have to forgive me, but this is episode 1 in a series of episodes that you're gonna see the trials and tribulations of it. You're gonna watch me fail. You're gonna watch me learn, and everything in between. So I hope a lot of you can relate to it. I've learned a lot through this process. It created a business through this process. All of these things were completely unexpected at the time that I built this. Without further ado, let's get into the build. Okay, stop, time out right there. Let me give some context to this truck. So why would I build a pickup truck? Don, or Donald as we knew him, passed away in January of 2018. Now this video series kicks off in the middle of September 2018. In that gap, I tried like hell to sell the truck, believe it or not. And I just couldn't get a fair offer on it. Somebody would give like $1,000, $1,500. The truck was really solid. And so Sandy, and those of you that don't know Sandy, she goes by Sandy Does It Online. She's a really fun person to follow. She looked at me and she said, look, I know you really, really, really want a sports car. And I did. I wanted a sports car to go back to racing, not a stupid truck. And she said, can you do it with a truck? Is it possible? Do you want that challenge? So I said, no, that's dumb. Who builds a truck to do handling things? And then I took a step back and I thought, well, wait a minute. This could be kind of a unique challenge. So I like a unique challenge. That is ultimately the foundation of how Innovaspeed came to be, is I like unique challenges, and my passion is handling motorsports. So I sat down, I looked at trucks like Rob and Brandy Phillips C10R, big inspiration to me. Rob McGregor, another one. Thank you, dude, for being so supportive of where I'm at and what I'm doing now. Hellboy, and he's built a ton of other notorious vehicles, but Hellboy is his baby, and it's got a hellacious list of victories to back it up. There's a number of other trucks out there, but remember, this is 2018. The Pro Touring truck scene hadn't like gone as explosive as it was, and nobody was touching OBS F150s for this kind of crap. There was one dude that started a build in 2019, still not done. It's still a frame and a cab. Really nice work. We're not going to get into that. I don't even remember the guy's Instagram tag, but to this day, it's still really not a thing, which is why I'm developing a line of parts. Hope you guys do it too. That's a whole other thing. There's a link in my bio to the website that I run with my parts on it. That's really what started all of this, is we had a truck that just couldn't get rid of for a fair price, didn't feel right to give it away, and I wanted to go sports car racing. So now we're going to turn this F-150 into a sports car. Take a look at what we're starting with.
Okay, I'm going to just voice over this part for the sake of avoiding all the rambling and senselessness that I did through here, because it was painful to listen to, so it should be easier. Just a quick walk around the truck, give you a feel for what we're starting with. As you can see, really, really straight body overall. Typical work truck type little dents and dings inside the bed, but you know, the bumper's super straight, which you don't see many of these with all the trims there. Right here is probably the biggest example of the number one issue with it. Even to this day, actually, I wrapped over bad clear coat. Shame on me. But that was really the bulk of it, was just crappy clear coat. Overall, body super duper straight. Truck was never in a wreck of any kind. It did have one dude bump into the driver's side rocker, but I never showed that. Right here, we'll go ahead and jump into the interior. Let me find a light. Okay, so, I mean, first thing you see, it's dirty, but like that dash pad right there, that was put on at the factory 95. So underneath of that is a completely mint dash. All the typical 90s-ness that you could handle and more. It's basically as close to a Lightning as you could get in a stock truck in 1995 without actually buying a Lightning, because he didn't care about that. Performance was irrelevant. He just wanted a nice pickup truck. And so he did. The pillow there is kind of funny. The seat was super worn out. So even though it only had 97,000 miles, he only had like a 5-mile radius that he traveled in. And so there was a lot of wear and tear for a one-owner low-mile truck. And you can see the mat right there. Same thing. There's some spills. His favorite place to go was Jack in the Box, so he did that. Being an old man, sometimes you still spill a drink, whatnot. You can see this had power everything being an XLT. They were pretty loaded at the time. That has a piece of tape over it because the driver's side window motor was going bad. But all the switches are there, and my intention, I was talking about it right here, was to keep all of those features, power mirrors, power windows, power door locks. For some reason, there was a bottle of ATF in there. I don't even know. I know the transmission had a little bit of leak, but I never showed that. Right here, though, this is usually what most people are worried about. So this had the largest engine available in a half-ton Ford pickup at the time, which was the infamous 351 Windsor, or at this time they were known as the 5.8-liter V8, if you want to be fancy and metric about it. Right here I'm talking through, this has all the emissions crap and stuff like that. There was canisters and lines, all kinds of mess under there that I didn't know even what it went to at the time. I've learned a lot since then, especially as I tore it apart. All that needed to go away because I didn't care about it. This truck is not susceptible to emissions where I live here. But just kind of looking it over, seeing where everything's at. I was really annoyed right here at what I thought was excessively long upper radiator hose. I realized that's to get over top of the mechanical fan with no interference. I just thought it was really dumb. And you can see on the right the AC compressor, because you really can't buy a vehicle with AC in Arizona, nor would you want to buy one without it here. But overall, it needed a tune-up and some fresh vacuum lines, and that was kind of the bulk of it. It was a runner. It started up every time and did its job and got him from point A to point B, and all he ever did to was change the oil, and then I think he had to put a fresh belt on it one time. That was pretty much it. This is kind of interesting, though, as we walk around. I always get a kick out of showing people this, and it's kind of hard to do it, especially in the narrow spot where I was with the camera, but pay attention to my hand right here. So looking at the center of the wheel well right here, don't look at the wheel because it's turned so it kind of skews you where I'm showing that. Look back in the middle of the wheel well, basically, and then follow my hand up as I go. And then look across. So kind of focus on that rear of the two intake tubes. Kind of a silly thing if you ask me, but anyway, focus on the rear of the two intake tubes. That's actually the leading edge of cylinder number 1. So compared to like the Chevy trucks and stuff like that, especially during this time and older, the engine's really far set back. So I've always made the joke that Ford definitely intended for me to make this a race car because they were already helping with weight balance. So I really did start with quite a peach of a truck, and I was very fortunate for that. So yay me.
I just want to interrupt for a second. I thought this was the perfect clip to do it. What you're looking at is nothing special. I found these like $22 LED tube lights. I don't even think they were outdoor rated at Home Depot or Lowe's, one of the two. It doesn't matter. I threw them up in this outside roof covering, and I guess this isn't really a special area at all. In fact, I later on found out the concrete here was uneven multiple directions. This was the only available hard ground, if you will, space that I had at my old house. You have to think of the magnitude of build I'm taking on. Like, you've seen everything I'm getting at and the things I'm talking about now. I'm just throwing up the cheapest light that I could afford at the time to do this huge thing. So I use a hashtag in all of my Instagram posts about building anything, and it's hashtag #GoBuildIt. And I think that's really important because I get a lot of people messaging me all the time saying, I can't build it because I don't have space, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. I didn't have all the tools to do this. I didn't even have all the knowledge, and I wasn't, frankly, quite sure how I was going to accomplish my goal. But I had that goal, and I kept that as my focus, and I didn't let anything stand in my way. So I thought it would be kind of neat to see really what we started with. right here. This is it.
The truck is in its final spot where it's going to be dismantled. It looks tighter than it is. I promise. I can easily walk. I've got a little room in here getting prepped. I'm going to go through, turn on all that. There's transmissions, tools right there. Got my air compressor over in the corner. I got to get a better air hose. I'm working on that. Right, so that back up here. There it is. I got to get some more lights, obviously. Room on this side. Once you start pulling off body panels, we'll have way more room to do work.
All right, let's stop there for this week's episode. It's going to get a little bit long-winded if we don't, and I really want to save next week for where we just rip this thing's guts out, because it's going to be so satisfying to see it come apart. But this should really set the tone. You can see, you know, the level of truck we're starting with. We got some clear coat issues. The body is super duper straight. There's really nothing mechanically wrong with the truck. It just needs a tune-up, like I said before. But that's where we're at. So don't forget, subscribe if you're not already. You definitely need to do that. And also, if you want to go ahead and support the channel, a couple bucks a shirt comes my way. My buddy Justin, thank you very much. You're supporting two very small businesses. If you want one, no obligation, no worries. I will see you guys next week where it really gets fun.